Shalom Aleichem? The Debbie one?
Oh, I don't know. Let me look and see.
Because I thought you were going to play that last week until you said I'm playing this one. Like, you made it clear, like, are we doing A, B, A, B? And I was like, oh, yeah, it's that one. Okay.
I think I looked and I didn't have that. Let me
I
look
feel
and
like that's
see.
the one that somehow got lost or something. I don't know. I can always make it.
Yeah, I'll make that one if you want to do it.
I don't need it today.
Okay, I'm
All
gonna
right,
look
thank you.
anyway.
One. Good Shabbos, everyone. We welcome Shabbat with Shalom Aleichem on page 142. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Moachem Leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni Leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitkhem leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
The bottom of page 124 as we read together. 124. May the door of the synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or strained feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May the synagogue be for all who enter the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. We turn to page 120 and we invite Sandra Berman to come up and light the Shabbat candles. 120.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav mitzivanu lehatlik ner להדליק נר של שבת.
For those who are able, we rise together for our Kiddush, top of page 123.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav meratzavanu בשבת קודשו מאהבה וברצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה וראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש שכל יציאת מצרים כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון נחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. לחיים.
We continue together, the top of page 126. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics and no services. But I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and to bring that vision to life. We continue with Achado D 138.
לחנדוני לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לחנדוני לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבורך תשמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, שם ולתפארת ולתהילה. לחנדוני לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לחנדוני לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לחנדוני לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לחנדוני לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לחנדוני לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לחנדוני לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
For those who are able, we rise together to greet Shabbat HaMalkah, the Queen of Shabbat.
אוי ושלום עטרת מעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהול לתוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלב, בואי חלב, לחנדוני לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לחנדוני לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
The bottom of page 145 together. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time, even at unlikely times and through unlikely places. There's no place on earth without the presence. We stay right here, our Chetzi Kaddish, the top of page 144.
יתגדל ויתקדש שם רבה, בעלמא תברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומייכון ובחי דכל בית ישראל בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשם בריחו לעילה מן כל מחדה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמירן מעלמה ואמרו Amen.
We rise together, 146.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Yada-dai-dai-dai, 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 yada-dai-dai-dai. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed Le'olam va'ed Yada-dai-dai-dai, 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 yada-dai-dai-dai.
The top of page 149 as we read together. Praise you, Adonai, our God, for whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way in which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise you, Adonai, our God, for whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamariv Aravim.
Amen.
On the next page.
Ahavat olam et Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח מחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו באורך ימינו ובהם נהגם יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד, שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם, לעולם ועד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברתם בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
The top of page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there's no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Our song of freedom and redemption, our Mi Chamocha 158.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, אדוני מלוך לעולם ועד. מלכותך ראו בניך מוקי הים לפני משה ומרים, זה אלי אנו ואמרו, זה אלי אנו ואמרו, אדוני מלוך לעולם ועד. יאי די 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 די, יאי די 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 די, יאי די 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 די, יאי די 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 די.
bottom of page 161. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter and the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. We stay right there, top page 160.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamideinu shomreinu l'chaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamideinu shomreinu l'chaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamideinu shomreinu l'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim.
The top of page 163. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable, without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. Vishamru 162.
Vishameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לתורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם לעולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת מי נפש.
The middle of page 165. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, and rebuild a weakened will. For those who are able, we rise together for our tefillah 166.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
The top of page 173. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. We continue with our Ritzei on the next page.
Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu be'amcha Yisrael utefilatan be'ahava tekabel utehil ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael Yisrael Amecha El Karov Lechol Kore'ah Pnei Elav Hatecha Mechoneinu Shefoch Ruchacha Betechezena Eineinu Meshuvcha LeTzion Berachamim Baruch atah Adonai HaMachazir Shechinato LeTzion Zion.
The top of page 179. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. Make contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul. May the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praise you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. 178.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Betov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום. We take a few moments for private meditation. Yehi l'ratzon imrefi, Yehi l'ratzon imrefi, והגיון ליבי לפניך, אדוני צורי וגואלי. Oh, may the words of my mouth, the meditation of my heart be acceptable before you, O God, my rock and my redeemer. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. מאמרו, מאמרו,
At this moment in our service, we think of those in our community, those especially who are in need of healing of body or spirit. Temple Emanu-El, we think of Barbara Edelman, Linda Applebaum, Sophia Barry, Margaret Bell, Donna Berman, Harold Seitlin, Amy Goldstein Siobhan, Orit Cohen, Lydia Cutler, Shoshana Daniels, David Denny, Jerry Fields, Brenda Friedman, Lauren Gawant, Edward Goldberg, Bart Kohlberg, Sharon Lahan, Marilyn McKenzie, Elliot Moscow, Ron Ostreicher, Chad Petrowski, Malka Bath Rachel, Aaron Richard, Mitch Schneiderkraut, Leslie Simon, Gene Sklar, Steve Spielberger, and Brenda Weinstein. For those who are with us tonight, if you're thinking of a loved one, a friend, someone who means so much to you and you wish to share their name out loud, we invite you to do so as my eyes meet yours. For those names mentioned out loud and for those names that are still in our hearts, our prayer for healing, Mishaberach, middle of page 371.
Mishaberach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha La'avoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Last week, we talked about where we are in the book of Deuteronomy, that these series of parshiot, these series of chapters are Moses' farewell homilies to the people of Israel to reinforce their obligations as to how they will engage in the mitzvot when they enter Eretz Yisrael. And I think it's a good time for us last week, this week, and moving forward until Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, that we take this time to think of the conclusion as Moses did, and we think of the renewal, the return. So we want to use this time, this space, to get us into the mindset of the high holidays. And the staff, we want to prepare you, and we want to teach you so that come the evening of September 15th, you'll have an idea about some of the customs, the rituals, as to why we do things. Last week, if you didn't hear, we talked about the difficulty of not having the second day Yontif and what happens when a hog falls on Shabbat, to blow the shofar and not to blow the shofar, and we decided to blow the shofar because we don't have second day Rosh Hashanah yet. I'm just kidding. Okay, I'm just kidding. You know, if you go back 2 years ago to that sermon, I say yet. There are some laughs. But Ken and I and Elizabeth, we have this goal that, especially for our younger congregants, then when they go to college, whether they go to Aish, Chabad, wherever they find themselves, another Reform shul, conservative shul, that there's some type of commonality in the rituals that we do. And we may be Temple Emanu-El, founded in the late 19th century in Birmingham, Alabama, Each synagogue in a region, a city, it has their own ethos, its own custom that they've been doing things. So whenever there's new clergy that enter a shul, we make changes. Some people really like them, some people really don't like them, and some people are in the gray. We want to be vessels, and we have no doubt, we know that we will hear from you. So tonight, I want to talk about Kol Nidre, and I've talked about this, but I've never done it in a formal teaching. That we know Kol Nidre as all vows, or the evening of the Yom Kippur service. Before I came, we only sang it once. And according to a legend, apparently it was really hot one day when Rabbi Graffin was here in Yom Kippur, the evening, and instead of a sermon, he wanted to hear a rendition of Kol Nidre. Is that true? Donald doesn't know. Okay, the historian. Okay. So when I came, there was no sermon on Kol Nidre. It was done by the music. But my question is, why don't we do Kol Nidre 3 times? So last week, for those who were paying attention, who wrote Avinu Malkeinu that we know? This is the joke. We know it as, who's Avinu Malkeinu? Barbra Streisand. Remember? Okay, it's written by Janowski, but everyone knows it as the Barbra Streisand Avinu Malkeinu. Okay? Now for Kol Nidre, let's see how good you guys are. What version of Kol Nidre do we do? Who sang it? Do you know the answer? Neil, the jazz singer. When he comes down, he's wearing the cantor's hat, the kova. Did you say Neil Diamond? Who said Neil Diamond? Okay. So and his dad is just cavelling of pride that he's singing Kol Nidre. He comes down. Okay. But again, the question is, why do we do it 3 times? And 3 is really important. We started off this service, Cantor did 3 things. Who remembers what he did? Shabbat candles. 3 times, okay? We know that 3 times. Okay, 1, 2, 3. And for a while, the question was, why do we do it 3 times? And I'm like, I don't know, that's what we do. And finally, I found the answer, and we'll get to that, okay? Mourner's Kaddish, we back 3 times, okay? And then 3 steps in. So 3 is really important for Judaism. And we recite Kol Nidre 3 times. Again, this idea of 3. So the first part of Yom Kippur, this service, we stand here for about 15 minutes. Past presidents are holding the Torah. You guys are standing, hopefully bending your knees. Cantor Whitner sings it the first time. The cellist plays it the second time. The third time, it's a sheluv, it's a kamatzia of the cantor and the choir doing it for the 3rd time. And then after that, we have this big part with the organ and the choir. God has forgiven us, God has pardoned us as we requested. So life for the Jewish people around 1,200 years ago was incredibly difficult. We had the Crusades. Jews were forced to live outside of the feudal system. Life was difficult. So the question for us was, what happened when we made a promise to God, and because of our circumstances, we were unable to fulfill that vow? And in the Jewish religion, vows were incredibly important. Even though they flirted with this idea of Kol Nidre being located in the Talmud, a lot of rabbis wrestled with the idea of not fulfilling a vow that we made to God. Finally, Rabbi Tom Rashi, the famous commentary, his grandson nails it perfectly for us. That if it's written in the Torah that above all we shall live by the law and not die by the law, we have to figure out a way where we feel spiritually complete and God understands the deal that we made for Yom Kippur. So any of those vows we made to God, Dear God, I will go to shul if Alabama wins this football game. I know most of this congregation has said that prayer, okay? Some type of vow you made to God. But due to life circumstances, it doesn't happen. So Kol Nidre was designed to give us that it is okay. So the first time we recite Kol Nidre, we're going into God's chamber. It's the outermost chamber, the third chamber. And the second time, we get a little bit closer to God's throne, for God to forgive the vows that we made. And finally, we get into God's chamber. And this is the beauty of the liturgy, that often we hear our Father, our King, God as the Melech, God is King. It's at this point spiritually where we're all standing, we're tired. God is not just our King, but God is our friend. God is our comfort. So us reciting Kol Nidre 3 times, yes, it happens to be that's what we do on Kol Nidre, but I want this congregation to explore our relationship with the presence. And we have this beautiful liturgical formula that says it's at this moment where God empathizes with the human condition. And for us, when we hit that choir, God has pardoned us and forgiven us as we requested. That's why we do it. So if God is able to forgive the mistakes that we made to God, all hat kama v'kama, all the more so when we have the courage to say sorry to another human being, or when a person says sorry to us. If God can forgive our humanities, we should have the strength to offer an apology and to accept an apology. The ability for us to create better experiences for other people is how we bring calm into this world. So the liturgical formula of Kol Nidre, even during Judaism's most darkest hours, it still commanded us to pursue teshuvah, that return. So last week, it's about blowing shofar on Shabbat. Tonight, it's about we recite Kol Nidre 3 times. If God is able to forgive us, may we have the strength to be forgiving of others. Shabbat Shalom, we rise together, Aleinu 586.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. מה אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ היום ההוא היום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
On this Shabbat, we recall the yortzites of Boris Belitsky, Elena Bliss, Flora B. Blutman, Chana Bajor, Chaim Bronstein, Beverly Kogan, Sam Kolick, Arthur Art Datnoff, Leah Elgley, Alan Eisenberg, Bob Engel, Louis Epstein, Grace Clapter Finkel, Sidney Frankel, Isidore Friedman, May G. Friend, Janet Goldfarb, Fanny Goldfarb, Victor Goldman, Walter E. Gregg, Emil Hess, Morris Hershkovitz, Hannah Will Jenkins, Elvin Katner, Hannah Kelly, Essie Kirkill, Harry M. Cohn, Ida B. Levin, Francis M. Levine, Maxine Marlowe Lichtenstein, Pauline Berman Malkov, Harry Markstein Jr., Morris Marlowe, Marion Adler Marks, Saul Madelson, Sam Mayer, J. George Mitnick, Harry Monroe, Leroy G. Munsky Sr., Doris Artel, Eli Perlman, Mildred Pines, Richard Allen Routman, Charles Sholoff, Irvin Shapiro, Esther Siegel, Stanley T. Siegel, Arnold Singer, Abram Mitchell Skyer, Yetta Glazer Sokol, Elena Stern, Lee E. Unger, Muriel Weisberg, Edith Wisowski, Joe B. Wright Jr., and Alexander Zeldin, on our heartfelt condolences in the recent passing of Dorothy Singer Jacobs, mother of Barbara Ayland. May all their memories forever be a blessing. We rise together as a unified congregation for Mortar's Kaddish 598. Yikadal Vikadash Shmei Rabbah, Bioma Divrach Eotei Vamlich Malchutei, B'chayachon Uv'yomechon, Uv'chayei Dechol Beit Yisrael, Bagala Uvizman Kariv V'yimru, Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah Mevarach Le'alam Alamei Maya, Yitbarach V'hishtabach Yitba'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar V'yitalev V'yitalal, Shemei Dekudsha B'richu, Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata, Tushbechata V'nechemata, Damiram B'yoma V'yimru, Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chayim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, V'yimru, Amen. Oseh Shalom B'mromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, V'yimru, Amen. Oseh Shalom B'mromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Me'imeru, Amen. Chef, are these yours, mother and daughter? Is that a yes? Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Please join us for Torah study at 9, Shabbat hike at 10, and finally, Jeff, for Kol Nidre, who'd you get? We got a string quartet, we got an oboist, we got a cellist. We're going to have a great time on Kol Nidre, if we can have a great time on Kol Nidre. Shabbat shalom, everybody.
you, sir.